Hey guys, we're back. The admins have not recently, it was 15 hours ago, have finally issued their bullshit statement I said they would come out with. We've heard various concerns about a recent action taken and wanted to provide clarity. Earlier this month, a Reddit employee was the target of harassment and doxing, sharing of personal or confidential information. Reddit activated, so they mean this is in addition to the recent thing that has happened. They were, harassed before. For being married to a fucking pedophile, for being a fucking pedophile sympathizer. They were harassed for that. And Reddit decided to hire this person, and it would be a great idea. Like, they can't find any other fucking trans activists in the UK? I find that fucking hard to believe, but I digress. The moderation rule was too broad, and this week, it incorrectly suspended a moderator who posted content that included personal information. A name. A name is personal information. When they have their own Wikipedia article, since fucking when? After investigating the situation, we reinstated the moderator the same day. Yeah, we reinstated the moderator the same day. What about all the users that have been suspended for not actually saying her name? Are they going to get reinstated? No? I didn't fucking think so. We are continuing to review all the details of the situation to ensure that we protect users and employees from doxing. Oh, really? That's fucking hilarious. Because a few months ago, I had a fucking stalker that decided to make his username my street name and city. Very distinct, right? I got a hold of them, and do you think they fucking did anything? Absolutely not. He would comment on my streams, so everyone in my streams could see it, and when I got a hold of those mods to be like, hey, this is problematic, they straight up told me that's not fucking doxing. But linking a Wikipedia fucking article, public information is, my address is not goddamn public information, but, We are continuing to review all the details of the situation to ensure that we protect including those who may have a public profile, without mistakenly taking action on non-violating content. Okay, so what the fuck is non-violating then? If a Wikipedia article is violating, what the fuck do you constitute as not violating? Referring to her as she who must not be named? Have they never heard of the Streisand effect? Content that mentions an employee does not violate our rules and is not subject to removal a priori. However, posts or comments that break Rule 1 or Rule 3, we'll get to that, or link to content that will be removed. This is no different from how our policies have been enforced to date. Yes, it is, but we understand how the mistake highlighted above caused confusion. We are continuing to review all the details of the situation. ETA, edited Tad. Please note that, as indicated in the sidebar, this subreddit is for discussion between mods and admins. User comments are automatically removed from all threads. We're seeing a number of good questions regarding where our policies around public information, personal information, and harassment intersect. While we're unable to comment on specific employee details, we do want to address a few of these questions, especially around what is or isn't allowed to be posted. A few answers. May we allow articles about an admin's personal or professional history? Oh, what? Yes. Articles are allowed to be posted on Reddit as long as they do not spread private information or invite harassment against others. Okay, so what the fuck is considered private information? As long as they do not spread private information. So only articles that don't mention her name are okay? Where the fuck, what? No, that's not a fucking thing. That makes absolutely no sense. May we allow proper names of admins? Here we go. It depends on the context. Posting of any personal information, including names, coupled with harassment of any sort, may result in action by us. Some admins are public figures by virtue of their jobs, so those names are okay. All right then. Other employees may have chosen to explicitly link their usernames to their real life. That's also okay. Some employees may have taken pains to not associate themselves with their specific usernames for safety reasons, in which case linking their names to their account is not okay. And I would like to add, I have not seen a single fucking instance of anyone linking her actual Reddit admin username. That has not happened. All they've used are her real name. Plenty of people have been banned for doing exactly what they said was okay. So take this with a grain of salt. Everything the admins say, take with a fucking grain of salt. Because they don't follow their own rules. There are plenty of people out there that will tell you that. Can we allow wiki pages if they mention the names of the admins, as long as it's not being posted in conjunction with other rule-breaking content, nor as a springboard for harassment? But okay, what are they going to consider harassment, though? They could consider it harassment if you're just bringing light to the situation. If you're just like, here's the wiki article about Aimee Challenor. Yes, I got her name right this time. The admin that was, the pedophile. No, not even call her anything bad. You could just say, here's the wiki article for Aimee Challenor. That sparked a whole lot of controversy. You could still get banned for that. They can still be like, oh, well, that's harassment. We said no personal information. And if you point to this right here, they'll just ignore you. They just will ignore you because they can. If we approve this kind of content, can we be banned? We know mods make mistakes, and it's only a problem if we see it becoming a pattern, blah, blah, blah. There have been instances where mods have been removed from their positions or suspended over repeatedly ignoring site-wide rules or encouraging others to break them. Given that this person is a public figure, why is this standard in place? They ran for public office and have been covered in the media. Our intent was never to remove any and all mentions of this admin's name. Suck my nut, you lying fucking. Just an overzealous automation when attempting to prevent doxing and harassment. You are all fucking liars. Okay, so why did you suspend the mod last night just for posting the name of an admin? This is not a quota question, but a sad blah blah blah. As we mentioned, this was an error on our part and quickly rectified with the mod team in question. See, they mention they rectified it with the mod team, but they don't mention all the users that were apparently caught in this overzealous automation. I have a fucking hard time believing that when this whole thing initially broke or whatever a month ago, I guess I missed that only one person knew about it, only one person talked about it, and only one person was wrongfully banned. I am not believing that. You've stated here that an automatic moderation rule was able to read this external article, see the name, and then ban the user who posted it. Is this scanning all external links posted to Reddit? Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, because they're asking, they did make a good point. If it was automated, how the hell did their bot pick up the content of the article? Do they scan all articles and stuff like that? Apparently, no, it does not scan. It was copy and pasted in the UK politics thread. Supposedly, there was no bot. They just let the admin nuke whatever offended them. Yep, one more embarrassing incident for Reddit that's going to get headlines, and absolutely nothing will fucking come of it. Like this is their, this is their response. Oh yeah, and what did it say? Post or comments that break Rule 1 or Rule 3, which are what? Reddit, remember the human. Don't attack anyone, and then respect the privacy. Okay, whatever. See, that's the thing that they stand behind is, mods and admins are allowed to interpret, the rules however they want. And, I used to mod a sub called Creepy PMs, and it was crazy. There were, a lot of victim blaming in there, just a lot of crazy stuff. A lot of people not liking their comments removed because they didn't mean it in a bad way, even though it was taken in a bad way, and not understanding, just because you didn't mean to break this rule doesn't mean that's not how we interpreted it and that it wasn't removed. So I liked it then because I guess I was using it in what I thought was a good way, But having it used against us in a not so good way, I'm not fucking liking one bit, to be honest. I find this interesting. I'm just combing through the comments of the admin that had posted that announcement. And this is talking about, I guess they are working for mod support. Mod support is where mods go to, get support, but just mods. User stuff complaining about mods is ignored. So I guess that's what they do, is respond to that kind of thing. And they're referring to the policy on sexual or suggestive content involving minors. So I thought it was interesting. Started giving it a read. Yeah, we know many of you disagree with this policy on principle. Nevertheless, it is in place to protect children and obey the law. Please respect that we take this very seriously and err on the side of caution when it comes to any content involving depictions of minors. The best guideline we can give you to help clarify this rule is that if it would be creepy to post with regard to a human minor, please don't post it with regard to an animated minor, blah, blah, blah. The fucking virtue signaling. I can't. And if this admin, really feels this way about Lolly and shit, how the fuck they could either type this out or copy and paste it from their PR person, whatever the fuck they did, how they can stand behind this is just insane. It's disgusting. You have to fucking decide. There comes a time where you have to fucking decide what is worth it and what isn't. And I just don't see how defending someone like that is fucking worth it. Maybe I'm fucked up. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. Okay, over 20 subreddits have gone private. Like I had mentioned last night, a bunch of subs were going private to protest and to try to force the admins to make a response. And like I said, I thought it would be bullshit. And sure enough, it was a huge disappointment. Color me fucking surprised. Blank Check does a lot of bot work for a lot of default subreddits, so he's really, he's really in there. He's not a nobody. Don't let his low karma fool you. It's because he is a bot creator and maintenance person. And honestly, seeing him this involved in this makes me very happy. Someone who's on what I consider the admin side, I'm always a little weary of because admins are the way they are. I tried modding for RPAN, and that did not work out. Working that closely to, not really admins, but, the mods who might as well be fucking admin. It was eye-opening. Definitely eye-opening. It's not the fair, liberal, safe space you would expect it to be. Let me just put it that way. The admin response I read you was their first, and I'm pretty sure only attempt at damage control, besides the comment that admin had made that was their, further clarification. And they also sent a message out to several of the larger private subreddits. This message has replies disabled, of course, so I can't ask for further clarification. If I could reply to Land of Lobsters, I would ask them, can I then put the full name of the admin in question at the top of my mega thread? Which, according to what they say, sounds about right. Hi mods, we're writing in regards to this community going private. We understand your concerns and are still evaluating. In the meantime, there's a lot of incorrect information regarding some of our previous actions. We are not removing mentions of admins' names, nor are users being suspended for it unless it's accompanied by harassment. Again, the suspension of the mod of UK Politics mod was a mistake which we reversed and apologized for shortly after it occurred. Again, because they're a mod with the whole mod team behind them, you could see our thread in mod support, the one we already read, along with an updated comment offering more details here, which is most likely the comment that was in that post. As we continue to evaluate, we'd like you to ensure that you are not spreading incorrect information. Thank you for your patience and understanding. Best, the Reddit admins. And I find it really funny how the misinformation is what's bannable and what's not. Not that, she's a fucking pedophile sympathizer. No, not that her father was arrested. I'm sorry, not that Aimee Challenor's father was arrested for raping and torturing a 10-year-old. Oh no, that's not the misinformation. The misinformation is not that Aimee Challenor's husband is a self-proclaimed pedophile. Oh no, that's not the misinformation either. The article is fully factual. They're not saying it wasn't, but they also haven't made any defense as to why they hired that person. And I would really like to know. I would absolutely love to know. And here are all the subreddits that are currently private. This was edited a minute ago, so it should be pretty up to date. And if you'll scroll over, Reddit Enhancement Studio is saying error loading subreddit info because they are indeed private. Only 2 default subreddits. And I mean, no offense, but these aren't the biggest. When you say default subreddit, Listen to This and Our Music are not what I think of. So just saying. But yeah, here's all of them. Ooh, these are the only a million plus? Oh, all right. There's 500 plus. Here's the 100 plus. Which will definitely have a lot more. 50,000, bouncing tits, boomer humor, Lush Cosmetics, Stims, against degenerate subs. Well, I'd say that's appropriate for them to be against it. So, yeah. Oh, not private, but posted public support. Reddit admins are forced to respond, hopefully by firing She Must Not Be Named. They don't like losing viewers. See, that's the problem. They responded. They have responded with their bullshit explanation. That's their only response. She Who Must Not Be Named is not going to be fired. That's never going to happen. I honestly don't think it, no matter how much bad publicity they get. And they don't like losing viewers, true, but there are only 2 default subs in this list. Default subs are, the subreddits made by Reddit, basically. And these aren't like the biggest ones you would think of. All right. Over 1 million subscribers? Okay, yeah. I mean, it's not bad, but not huge. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate to be a downer in this whole thing because I would love for Aimee Challenor to get the fucking boot. I would love for her to get the boot. But, I just don't think that's the reality of it. I really don't. So, looks like some news-ish sites are starting to pick up the story. The Spectator reported on it. No, sweetheart, they are not censoring you. And of course, this article is only available to subscribers. And because The Spectator is not a real fucking news publication, I cannot use incognito in Chrome or any of the, things that help you bypass paywalls for actual news. Reddit is banning anyone who takes Aimee Challenor's name. Here's everything you need to know. So Aimee Knight is actually what she goes by now. Formerly known as Aimee Challenor. I wonder if Challenor is the last name she shares with her convicted pedophile father. Well, he had been charged with 22 severe and extreme sexual offenses against a child. So that poor 10-year-old girl, he did not rape and torture her once to have 22 offenses against her. It was most likely not just one time. Assault of a child with electric shocks. So that's how he tortured her. We didn't get those details before. Subsequently, and while the fire was out on bail pending the trial, that's when she hired him to work on their electoral political campaign as her election agent and to do other campaign work. The Green Party also commissioned an independent investigation and found that Aimee had informally reported the charges to a friend in the party, but crucially had failed to mention the father's involvement in the party as a member, nor his involvement in the activist's campaign, which was ongoing, and found the job the activist had given the father may have put him in contact with children and other vulnerable people. Particularly troubling, the report found was that in addition to the election agent job, Aimee had engaged their father as a photographer, which, given the nature of some of the charges against him and that a political campaign interacts with children and vulnerable people as a matter of course, caused much alarm. Because one of his charges was for having, basically child porn, indecent photographs of a child, which he most likely took himself. After the investigation concluded and the report was published, the party expelled Aimee, her father, and her mother. This was widely covered by the press here in the UK at the time. The father was later convicted and sentenced to 22 years in prison. A while later, the activist partner allegedly publicly admitted to writing erotic literature involving forcible sexual acts with a child. Erotic child porn. Call a spade a fucking spade. Though Aimee and their partner claimed that this admission was written by a hacker, leading to the activist being expelled from a second major political party and the activist resigning from a very prominent LGBTQ campaigning organization and moving to the US where their partner comes from. Now, as we know from yesterday, they claim it was a hack, but their partner has or had multiple social medias using that same name as the hacked account. And all the accounts were talking about the pedophilia. Oh, so were all of them hacked? No? Just the one that came to public light? Yeah, sorry, I'm not fucking buying that. The admins had been perma-banning and taking down posts and comments that mentioned the 2 previous incidents in connection with the new admin's name, as well as linking to the article by the magazine and the blog post by the screenwriter, and numerous articles by the press about the criminal case and the investigation. So again, anything the admins say, take that with a grain of salt. Do not take it at face value. Aimee, through her Reddit account, is not the imposter, banned one of the moderators of UK politics for linking an article that mentioned her. Okay, so here is they're claiming, at least, that she was the admin that banned them. Not that it was what's Reddit's fucking excuse? That it was an overzealous automation. Reddit has come out in defense of Aimee, alleging its own users to have targeted harassment and sharing of confidential information against Aimee, and has therefore started banning anyone who even names Aimee as part of a comment, post, or message. A move that is heavily being criticized by Reddit users across the website. Also, to hold Reddit accountable for its actions, hundreds of community moderators have taken their subreddits private, making these subreddits unavailable for public access. The series of events raises many questions on Reddit. Why do admins get to use their power for self-benefit? What about Reddit's hiring policies when even a cursory internet search raises serious issues, and about their ongoing efforts to simply erase mentions of the issue rather than to engage the communities affected? Okay, you guys, I think I may have found the connection, I guess, between Aimee Challenor, Amy Knight, and Reddit. So, in 2020, last year, she wrote an open letter to Reddit, which resulted in many gender-critical accounts and subreddits being removed from the site. Among the groups banned were r/dtran, trans activists hate detransitioners, okay, and r/true lesbians, which catered for actual lesbians as opposed to B-penist ones. So I guess, trans women who are lesbian, they didn't count as being real lesbians, which is just disgusting. So how can you fight for this? Like, okay, I guess because, you're trans and it affects you, you have no problem saying that it's disgusting. But when it comes to pedophilia, oh well. Now, Reddit have put her on the payroll. How the fuck from March? Okay. Became a moderator of RPAN all the way back on the 25th of March. In that short time, how the fuck did she go from mod to deputy mod to head mod and then manager? How the fuck was she being brought up that fast? She's friends with admins. Everybody knows that, people who are always moving up like this, it's because they're friends with admins. There's the whole thing about the small group of people that run all of the major subs, and all of the major subs that they run, they're the top mods of, absolutely none of them have gone silent. Oh, really? Huh. Interesting. So she deletes her old account. More proof that that is her Reddit username is right here. All right, there's more proof. In 2019, Amy's future husband, Nathaniel D. Knight of Michigan, was outed by Mumsnet for writing sex stories involving children. Nathaniel wrote the tweets below to defend himself, but received a backlash from Twitter users. These tweets led to Aimee being investigated and removed from the UK's Liberal Democrats, and eventually she was removed from Stonewall's Trans Advisory Board. Nathaniel also had his Twitter account suspended. Alright, so I'm going to give a trigger warning real quick before I start reading these. I just have fantasies that I write stories about in order to explore and let it out. And my biggest problem with that is, when does that exploration not become enough? When is that no longer enough? I'm sure he could talk to, Aimee Challenor's father all fucking about that. I could explain common reasons for mind control fetishism, but they won't matter to my enemies. So let's focus on the fact about hypnotism in real life, and not many stories depict it. So I guess he uses hypnosis to rape these underage girls in his stories? I'm not sure. Hypnosis is a therapeutic tool for self-actualization and self-improvement. It allows a subject to achieve changes they want more quickly and easily. You cannot, in real life, be hypnotized into doing something you do not want. Back to fantasizing. Yes, I fantasize about things I don't want to do in real life. I fantasize about things that are some combination of impossible, unethical, or otherwise outside of my personal capacity to act upon outside of fantasy. I fantasize about jumping 20 feet high. Okay, there's a difference between fantasizing about jumping 20 feet high and fantasizing about hurting a fucking child. Because you will never jump 20 feet high, whereas if he's presented with an opportunity to hurt a fucking child, he will most likely fucking take it. And I don't think that means I can, or that it would be safe to do so. I fantasize about children having sex, sometimes with adults, sometimes with other children, sometimes kidnapped and forced into bad situations, sometimes coerced through fantasy mind control. Then again, I don't fantasize about torturing people for my own enjoyment. I don't fantasize about real children. Every story I've written features fictional characters, even if I fantasize myself with a fictional child. I've never looked at actual, real child pornography. Okay, Nathaniel, and for your little fantasies, where are you conjuring up these images of children for your little fucking fantasies? They're completely made up in your fucking head? Considering all the faces in our dreams are someone we've seen before, even if we don't remember, and not manufactured, I find that fucking hard to believe, Nathaniel. It's a fantasy, like a child who pretends to be a dragon while their friend is a dragon-slaying knight, or a robber while their friends pretend to be police. It's make-believe and imaginary. Oh, God. There are pedophiles that do not act on it. They don't watch child porn or offend a child. But the ones that have hurt a kid, it is unlikely they will ever stop. They will most likely take advantage again and again if they are ever presented with the opportunity. Almost like, an addict getting their fix. Only obviously one is much worse than the other. I've been in recovery for 6 years. You don't have to get mad at me. I'm not trying to compare the two, because the point I was getting at was, I don't fantasize about getting high anymore because that would be detrimental to my recovery. Just like a pedophile probably should not feed into his fucking fantasies about children. So how can Aimee Challenor work with vulnerable teenagers when she's in a relationship with me? I don't have a violent bone in my body, and I have no interest in real children, just the real children I imagine. In more than half of my lifetime, I have not graduated from a fetish for fantasy children. Okay, no. Fetishes are legal. If it's against the law, it's not a fucking fetish, and you're a pedophile. I've not graduated from a fetish for fantasy children to a fetish for real, living, breathing children. Again, pedophilia is not a goddamn fetish, you disgusting piece of shit. And I have never committed a single act of offense towards a real child, yet. I don't even fantasize about real children. Yeah, you do. Consent requires mature awareness and reasonable equality in partnership. Without consent, all sex is rape. So consent requires mature awareness. So he's one of those fucking freak maps you would see on Twitter talking about, mentally they're older, so it's okay, they can consent. I know they're 10 or 8, but to me, they're 18. What's it matter? Because he thinks it's only rape without consent. If he's not interested in real life children, why is he trying so hard to invalidate statutory rape? I will not engage in any sexual interaction without consent from a person with a mature mind and understanding of sex. There you go. He has decided that it's up to him to say whether or not a fucking child is of a mature mind and understands sex. Get the fuck out of here, you disgusting piece of shit. You are a fucking freak and I hate everything about you. I do not rape because despite having some fantasies of rape, I do not genuinely wish to rape anybody of any age. Get the fuck out of here. Now, and this was all on Twitter, and it was being brought to light. I'm sure this was brought up when, before. I mean, I found this in this was on the first page of the Google search of her that I found. So any of the Reddit staff also could have found it if they looked, but I guarantee you they already knew about the controversies, so they didn't look because they didn't want to have to know. Some months later, Aimee Challenor backed into a corner, went on record to deny that Nathaniel wrote the above tweets and stated that Knight's Twitter account had been hacked without providing any proof. And again, these are the claims that line up with his other social media that went by the same username. All right, this was not a fucking isolated incident. And she didn't claim all the other ones were hacked and again had no proof. So the tweets that were purported to appear on my partner's account were not his thoughts or opinions. Okay, however, we can now reveal two things. One, Nathaniel Knight is on record admitting his pedophilia in DigiArtist domain in a concrete way back in 2004. It's been pointed out a few times that most fetishes, especially in young adults, can be traced to a few simple origins. Taboos and things that were enjoyed during childhood are common ones. I can probably trace almost all of my fetishes back to my own childhood. Let's see. Early exposure to sexual situations led to an interest in the immature female body, which led to my pedophilia. Now, I talked about this yesterday. I don't want to go into it again, but myself and any other child who was sexually abused and exposed to these sexual situations at a young age will tell you that they did not experience the same goddamn interest in fucking children, and it disgusts us and probably pisses us off more than fucking anything else. Early exposure to hypnosis, mind control, and sexual situations led to an interest in domination and thus to my hypno fetish, while also contributing to my pedophilia. It all sounds like an excuse for your fucking pedophilia, you disgusting piece of shit. An early interest in domination led to my interest in BD and D's play. The taboo of sexual activity led to my search for excuses, which led to my interest in the submissive side of D's and being the victim of a hypno-fetishist. There are more, but I haven't analyzed my past concerning those yet. By the way, this is a year-old thread, so I don't think it needed to be brought back, but maybe there are some more voices who'd like to comment on it? No. No one is going to fucking validate your pedophilic tendencies, you fucking freak. You'll see below from the same site, it's clear Nate Hunter is Nathaniel Dean Knight from Michigan, Aimee Challenor's husband. Here's his wolf avatar and his internet name, Caron Alpua. Caron Alpua is a unique name Nathaniel has used for a very long time now, and it's also secretly tied to him through his Keybase account. All right, let's check this out. Nate Hunter, data mind control advocate. Yep, sounds about right. Nathaniel's preteen child sex stories were also in his Fur Affinity gallery. As early as the 1st of May 2015. This is around the time Aimee Knight met him. Fur Affinity was an important online space Nathaniel Knight and Aimee Knight, then Challenor, used, and one of the places they met. Looking at people's galleries is also a key part of the Fur Affinity experience. Okay, I mean, being a furry it's not necessarily problematic. You know, being a zoophile or whatever, the ones that have sex with animals, again, that is illegal and not a fetish. Being a furry is not illegal, it's a fetish. Another fetish they share. And I wonder what other disgusting things they think are fetishes that are illegal they share. Is Aimee Challenor also a fucking pedophile? Do you think they read his stories together and get off to it together? And I'm willing to bet the Digital Matrix, Young Dreams and other shit like that are his writings about, I wonder what Little Date, The Slave Letter, Courses Begin are about. Some of his other fantasy writings about children, maybe? I apologize for providing part of one of Nathaniel's stories below. I have censored it right now, and, I'm giving a trigger warning before I read it. But I think it's important to see what he writes and where he goes in his head. This is from the Digital Matrix 2, Comfort Among Friends, one of the ones I explicitly asked about. Rookie and Jury are preteens, and importantly, it's clear from the graphic above that they're both preteens. You can see the icon for the story in Nathaniel's gallery above, second row, fifth pick. And again, I am giving a massive trigger warning before I start reading this. Rookie, Jury said, smiling at the thought of Leomon's words. Rookie, will you teach me how to love? I'm trying to show you something about love, Rookie said, smiling. But I can't teach you how to love. Love is like any emotion. It's a part of who you are. You just feel it. All right, Jury said, leaning back. She started paying a bit more attention now and wondered what Rookie was trying to do. Jury had heard about girl sex, but she'd never imagined having it. Despite having had sex a few times, she had never felt like having sex since the D Reaper incident. Unlike Rookie and Takato, she thought bitterly. She hadn't even masturbated since then, but what Rookie had been doing felt good, and Jury wanted to feel more. And see, as a grown man, how exactly do you know how to write about the experiences of preteen girls in general? As soon as this is happening, it's going to go in a disgusting sexual way. It's not about, being young and, maybe exploring a same-sex situation, I kissed a girl way before I kissed a boy. I was in elementary school. We would hide and kiss a lot, and it wasn't really sexual. It was, I'm not sure how to explain it, but if I were to talk or write about it, it wouldn't be talked or written about in a sexual way. It would be more about, the experimenting as a kid, and, now that I identify as asexual, what, that was, what it was like, and why it was the way it was, and doesn't matter. Rookie knew Jury was a bit confused about what to do, but she wasn't going to force her friend into anything. Instead, she felt around for juries, and I'm sure it gets very NSFW here, and I'm so glad this is censored. I don't know if I could actually read this. By this point, both girls were on their knees, Jury holding Rookie closely. Rookie was working them down to a lying position, and she knew Jury would almost definitely end up below her. Jury didn't seem to be in any mood to complain, though, so she just did it, and let her friend have all the pleasure. Ugh, I just feel nauseous reading this. I mean, besides the disgusting content, he's a shit fucking writer. This is god fucking awful. Reads like it was written by a goddamn 16-year-old who just took their first class of goddamn creative writing. These stories demonstrate that the tweets Aimee tried to deny Nathaniel wrote are consistent with Nathaniel's thinking, and also that these stories were in a place Aimee would have had access, which makes you wonder if Aimee knew he harbored sexual feelings for children right from the start of their relationship. It does make me wonder, because my assumption is the answer is yes. What I'm really wondering is if Aimee also harbors sexual feelings for children. So a few questions. Did Aimee Knight get the job at Reddit by keeping quiet about the real reasons for their removal from the Green Party, liberal Democrats, and Stonewall? Does Reddit stand by its decision to remove feminist and lesbian subreddits like r/gendercritical, which contains some 65,000 members at the request of someone who, at the very least, has covered up for a pedophile? They absolutely are. They absolutely are, like I said they would. Does Stonewall stand by its safeguarding advice given to all institutions all over the UK, including Girl Guiding, which adopted at the same time Challenor was on their trans advisory board? Will the Green Party UK ever apologize to Andy Healy for suspending him after he exposed Aimee and Aimee's pedophile father? One thing is certain, as Aimee's story continues, the scandals will continue to pile up. And you guys, I am here for all of it. I've never really made videos like this, but this is something I obviously care a lot about, having talked about my own experiences and how much it pisses me off that, they're using that to, explain away their pedophilia. Like, no. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Okay, so it took me so long to record and make this video that in the past 4 hours, the admins made an announcement saying that Aimee Challenor has actually been fired. Here's the post they made in r/announcements, and it says, an update on the recent issues surrounding a Reddit employee. We would like to give you an update on the recent issues that have transpired concerning a specific Reddit employee, as well as provide you with context into actions that we took to prevent doxing and harassment. As of today, the employee in question is no longer employed by Reddit. We built a relationship with her first as a mod and then through a contract to work on RPAN. We did not adequately vet her background before formally hiring her. And I find that all very fucking hard to believe. I find it very hard to believe she never talked about her political aspirations or her political career, or not at all. And I find it hard to believe that they never Googled her once they found that out. They also pushed her through the ranks in RPAN pretty fucking fast in about a year. That's ridiculously fast. That's you're friends with an admin fast. And expect us to believe this? And look at all the fucking awards it has. We put significant effort into improving how we handle doxing and harassment, and this employee was the subject of both. No, they fucking were not. At least what they originally were claiming was doxing with the Wikipedia article. She fucking was not. In this case, we over-indexed on protection, which had serious consequences in terms of enforcement actions. Really? Is that what you call Aimee Challenor using her admin account to remove the content and ban the person? That's what you call over-indexed on protection? March 9th, we added extra protections for this employee, including actioning content that mentioned the employee's name or shared personal information on third-party sites, which we reserve for serious cases of harassment and doxing. So, at the very least, they have known since March fucking 9th. Because why did they have to put those little protections in place? What was brought to light that made them put that in place? The same shit that was brought to light now. The only difference is it wasn't becoming a big Reddit-wide, internet-wide thing then like it is now. On March 22nd, a news article about this employee was posted by a mod of r/UK Politics. The article was removed by Aimee Challenor, and the submitter banned by the aforementioned rules by Aimee Challenor. And they posted a news article, again, not about Aimee Challenor. You can read all about it, watch all about it in my last video. She was mentioned in passing. When contacted by the moderators of r/UK Politics, we reviewed the actions and reversed the ban on the moderator, and we informed the UK Politics moderation team that we had restored the mod. So even they knew it was out of fucking line. I think they were trying to minimize the damage beforehand, thinking, maybe if we give them the mod back, this will all just go away. We updated our rules to flag potential harassment for human review. So it's never been reviewed by a human, I guess, ever. Debate and criticism have always been and always will be central to conversation on Reddit. unless the debate and criticism is about one of their own. The only difference here, right now, is that this was getting them bad attention and subreddits were closing down so users couldn't use them. Including discussion about public figures in Reddit itself. Like I said in my last video, it's always been okay. And they tried to make it not okay, and now they're trying to backtrack like that's not what they did. Like, we don't remember what happened. Like, we're all just too stupid to fucking know. Mentioning a public figure's name should not get you banned. Yes, that was everyone's fucking point the whole time. We care deeply for Reddit and appreciate that you do too. We understand the anger and confusion about these issues and their bigger implications. No, you fucking don't. The employee is no longer with Reddit and will be evolving a number of relevant internal policies. We did not operate to our own standards here. We will do our best to do better for you. I wouldn't be surprised if she just made another fucking new account and that's what she's operating under. I'm not buying this at all. I just can't. This is a load I cannot fucking swallow. I can't. And I just can't believe so many people were so fucking eager to. Unfucking real.